Hi, everybody. I'm Mike.
And my name's Carl, and this is a Corepunk podcast. And yeah, could we be entering a new era of Corepunk? That's the question today. And my thoughts being behind that is we've just had news of a second playtest, and it seems like Artificial Core and Corepunk are finally sticking to their word. So yeah, I don't know.
Amazing.
How do you feel, Mike? For me, it's restoring a bit of the faith and a bit of the trust.
Yes,
Yeah, just
100%.
it's an exciting time.
It
Definitely
is. It
exciting.
is. We're like you say. It's that kind of. They've said that they were doing the playtest, were number one, and they did the playtest number one, and now the playtest number two, which said end of October. It's the end of October. They've said they're doing a second playtest. So, yeah, 100%. It reinvigorates that kind of the sticking to the word, and we're going to be
Yeah.
getting hopefully some consistent content going forward. So that's very
Mended
exciting.
some of the wounds from previous sort of delays. I'm
Yeah.
still sort of unsure whether we'll get the extended access, early access. Sorry, not extended access. I'm thinking of my work there. Early access in December,
Yeah.
because
I
just
I kind of
because
feel
this,
that same.
yeah, because there's still the visual NDA in this. So like, I'll bring this over. So yeah, if you haven't seen, I imagine everyone watching this has. They released this yesterday. It says, "Hey everyone, we're excited to announce the upcoming first look test phase 2, happening on November 4th and 5th." So yeah, it's not happening in October, but they have let us know in October. You know what I mean? It's not too far from the end of October, the
Yeah.
start of
The end of
there.
October comes November, so it's kind of
Yeah.
makes sense in
Uh,
my head.
the focus of this phase of the test is to try out this second iteration of the initial experience and expand the game's regions available to players. So it sounds like we'll get a bit more than what we saw last time, which is good. I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's quite a lot more. If it,
I hope so. It'd be interesting to see, like they said like the next iteration of the initial experience. So obviously it's still going to be early game, which is what I don't think anyone expected any different. I know we talked about it would have been nice to have like full level characters and do that, but I think that maybe comes further down the line.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I hope it's more purely because when we look back and obviously we've talked about it on previous episodes, like I managed to comfortably do the beginning bit 3 times on 3 different characters, and with this being, as you can see, fourth and fifth, so it's probably not a 12-hour stint. We're talking a couple of days there, aren't we? So
yeah. I'm hoping some of the talent trees could be open. You know what I mean? You could be skilling up, trying some of the talent trees. They said they're also going to open it up to 100 plus members,
mhm.
and it's going to be the where is it? EU West, NA East, NA West, and SA East, so we can get a
Yeah,
good read on how things are performing globally.
which I
A
think
quick,
is massive. Like
yeah,
that's quite big news. That
the visual NDA is still in effect. They want to take time to make further improvements before we go public, so the NDA will be lifted in the next testing phase. So that bit there really sort of highlights why I don't think we'll be getting the early access in December, because if they're only going to lift the visual NDA in the next testing phase, I can't imagine we're going to get 2 in November, then for early access in December.
yeah, I agree. I'm still hopeful. It would be
Oh, it'd
great
be
if they
great.
just
It'd be
kind of
great.
just
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
yeah. Do you know actually we've got everything. Um, Going back to the server thing, the fact that there's 4 servers, like there's been a few, discussions. Eugene's mentioned a few times when they've been kind of doing the back end testing. Stability has been a big issue. So the fact that they're kind of willing to test that, put it, it's kind of like an acid test, opening it up to regions that aren't local to them, because obviously
Yeah.
that's why the first playtest there was no North America and such. So that's brilliant. I hope it works. I'm intrigued. We've had a bit of discussion on our Discord about the 100 plus. Obviously, that's quite an ambiguous. 100 plus
Yeah,
could be 2,000. That's more than 100. It's probably not going to be that. Um, but interesting to see if it's 100, 200, 300, how that's split across the servers. Because of
yeah,
course they'll probably invite people from regions, so regions are tested. I was a bit fearful that if it was 100-ish, that's only kind of 25, 30 per server, and we had 21 in ours. So, like,
yeah.
in terms of actual stability, they're not pushing the envelope too much there,
No.
to see if they could actually handle. But if it's 100 plus a server, brilliant.
With that, how much of a lot of sort of area do you reckon we'll get? Do you reckon we'll get, because we only really had this sort of farmlands and a bit of a forest, do we? Do you reckon we'll see some different regions or anything like that? Do you reckon it'll be the same area expanded? So we'll start off with I guess it'll have to be the same because it was sort of the opening quests, wasn't it, where we were playing?
Yeah, so it said the next iteration, and obviously, the speculation of when you open the browser, to the launcher, sorry, it's Elanian, bless the king, is what you pick.
Yeah,
So whether there's other starting areas for other factions, or how they're going to do that, I would imagine it will be the same area expanded. I
yeah,
hope. I hope it is, because also, as much as I'd love to see a completely new area, I think if they invite people who played the initial playtest and then the next one, they've got a better representation of what's actually changed.
no, yeah,
So, like, you can see if a quest has been tweaked, or whatever it is that's been implemented in this new iteration. So, but
yeah.
yeah, I hope it's a bit more. I do.
I wonder if they have put any of the feedback in yet. I wonder if they've named any of the places on. I doubt they've been able to change any of the quests and the wording and the stuff like that, but they might have been able to put the place names and tags onto the map. And
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know how quick they can implement that sort
yeah,
of stuff.
this is the thing, isn't it? Like, it sounds very simple. It's really probably not, like, nameplates and stuff having you know, I imagine you've got to imagine thinking like, well, is it the text got to shrink down when you zoom in on the map? Like all these kind of things. Like, you
Yeah,
just don't, as a consumer of games, you're just thinking, oh, we'll just add the text, mate. What's so hard about that? But
yeah,
it's obviously, you can do that and then break 20 other things. There's always
yeah,
developer memes where it's like, change one line of code, break 27 more, kind of thing.
yeah,
So yeah, I do hope they bring. I hope there's more, purely because A, I'm selfish and I want to play Corepunk. B, it allows us to see what's actually being implemented, or what changes, or how the game progresses. And C, I'm greedy and I want to play Corepunk.
exactly.
So
Yeah, yeah. I'm very excited to be able to sort of. Well, this time not rush because I was limited in how much I could play anyway,
yeah,
and I still am to a certain extent, but I'm not going to feel that initial like run everywhere, try and do everything. Like just take your time with it a bit more because it is over the 2 days. There's going to be two different sessions. Hopefully, I'll be able to try out two different characters at least this time.
yeah.
I'm hoping there's more classes, or at least more subclasses of the heroes that we were able to play.
It, that was going to be one of my questions for you. Do you think we're going to see something like that? Do you think we might see?
Yeah,
I dare on the thing of like more subclasses as opposed to maybe new heroes, but
yeah. I
um,
think it'll be more subclasses. I think we'll get two subclasses per hero this time.
yeah, you reckon we'll get the
But
ranger
yeah, I don't.
and
I don't think we'll get any new heroes. I think it'll still be the warmonger, bomber, and champion, just because they seem to work really well. There's something for everyone within those sort of three.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, we saw that, didn't we? Between the three, and me playing all three, they all felt very different. Like, enough to someone who gets into a playtest to have a variation and go, these are actually different and not just reskins for the game.
yeah, I really hope there's a we either get the artifacts so we can get the regen of the mana, like we said this time, or there's been a tweak to the cost of what sort of skills are. I don't
Yeah.
know what I want more. I don't. Yeah. Because the
I,
cost.
I'd be interested to see just how they've taken that feedback and how they feel they want to implement it. Because
Yeah,
it's yeah,
I'd love to get an update from them before this one, and I imagine we will because in the email that we got sort of like a hey, this is what you'll be trying out or whatever. It'd be great to have sort of like here's what's changed from last time. You'll now notice that mana you'll have a 1 HP mana or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting. And like you say, it'd be nice to see because they've had a vision up until this point. They've not had external input, so it'll be interesting to see how they, as developers, respond to it. They've already said like they've already looked at things like the name on the maps and that kind of thing. So I'm actually quite intrigued to see if they go, well, actually, I know you've all said about the regen, and we kind of touched on this on the last podcast. Like, their vision might have been that that is how it is, but the game will actually let you do the thing you want in. It's just not what you've been shown so far. So
Exactly. Yeah.
there's no need to change, which is fine. I mean, I'm just intrigued to see. I don't know. I'm just excited to play
I'm
again
well
if we
excited.
get in. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. I'd hope so.
Oh yeah. I'd hope to. Yeah. I don't know if we need a new launcher. I don't know if it'll be a completely new build of the game that will get sent out, or if you.
I'd
Yeah.
imagine if I was a guessing, not a betting man, if I was a guessing man, I think it would just be that our key has activated the game, and then
Yeah.
these are kind of there'll be a launcher update, like as
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they patch MMOs, and it should work from there. Maybe, who knows? But that'll
Yeah.
be interesting. Um,
It's interesting to see because if they haven't implemented any changes in this one, when will they start doing that? When we could with changes will come more feedback. So
yeah,
it's
yeah. It's kind of that thing of even if they've only just changed one or two things, the things that they can, because like we say, we don't know how hard it is to go. Yeah, actually, we do need to put that in, but that's like a 6 month job, or that's like a
yeah
down the line job, which they've highlighted in some of their posts, saying like in Q&As, people saying, oh, is the train going to be able to do this? And they go, yes, eventually, but our eyes are here now. That's like down the road kind of thing. um I how would you feel, let me pose this to you, how would you feel if we got it, it's the second iteration, it's basically the same but with more people, and like if you were to quantify an extra 2 quests,
mm,
would
uh,
that worry you?
I don't think it'll be that. It would worry me, yeah. If it
Yeah,
was the exact same build, but it was just a bit of an expanded area, that'd worry me. Like definitely because there's just sort of like I don't know. There's accessibility issues like we highlighted with the questing and stuff that need to be implemented, especially if they're now opening this up to other people. It's more just like it's just because they were hopeful of putting the early access out in December that I'm thinking, well, you haven't got a lot of time to make these changes if you wanted to hit that, which I don't think. I think to be fair, I'm now clinging on to the idea that the early access is going to be in December a lot more than Eugene probably meant it to be said, because it was only a small bit of the news that came out, and he was like, "We're hopeful that they'll
yeah,
do it in December," but they were also hopeful about the closed beta years ago, So,
yeah, yeah,
um, so it's probably that sort of deadline because if it's now going to be, look, this is the second playtest of 30 that we're going to get before the early access, then I'm not worried at all. It's
yeah.
um,
I understand what you're saying, because
it's the
early
time
access,
scale, isn't it? It's just
yeah, early access in my head is the complete game in its current state. That's how I
Yes.
envision
Yeah.
early access. I don't imagine it being like Star Citizen. So Star Citizen, the game forever in alpha, um, they release it in like modules. So like
Yeah.
they did space combat, and you could only do that, and then they'd patch it, and you do ground combat or go to cities. I don't think that approach would work in this case. But early access in most MMOs, from memory of playing them when I you know bought the early access, is it's the whole game.
Yeah.
There are bits missing and things that need tweaking and stuff, but that's part of it. It's like that's the development cycle. And if we've only got this area, and if this area only goes from here to like there, and the game is here, like that's a lot of round here that's missing.
Yeah.
And then how does that suddenly implement from 21 people to 100? Say in November they go, yeah, we'll do it 3,000, because the initial one was closed beta was 2,000, wasn't it? That was like the sweet mark, and then hopefully they'd open it to everyone in the Discord, which was about 10,000 at the time.
Yeah.
Those numbers rattle in my head. I can imagine at early access they're gonna way outsell that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just going to be 2,000 people going, oh, this, I've heard of this. Like, it will take off. And I think my worry there is, if it wasn't like your worry is that if they're not implementing these changes in the 2 months that are left before then, that's like,
Yeah.
that's a risk of collapsing, and losing that
Yeah.
momentum they're gaining.
Yeah. They're gonna have to be really, really clever with the way that they frame sort of early access, and like if they do go for it. I don't think they will. I don't think a lot of people now expect, like, when I think of early access, I just expect, like you say, the complete game, but with a bit of leeway. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, things might be bugged. And there'll be monthly updates. You know what I mean? From there to be like, oh, we've added this, we've tweaked that, but a lot. It'd be That's what I
I
expect
think
from
a
an
bit
early
like
access,
Valheim.
especially once people have put money into it. You know what I mean? You couldn't then just go
Yeah.
6 months without anything. Like,
No, no,
yeah,
that's
think of
that's how
Valheim.
I imagine. Yeah.
Valheim. Yeah, to be fair, they did go for a while, but they were a 4-person team that never expected.
They blew up. They
Yeah,
blew up overnight because content creators latched onto it and saw the potential. Um, yeah, I really hope. Like, I am still positive, because when I read the article yesterday, and it was like, oh, it's still under visual NDA, the next one won't be. And we talked about it with a few people in our Discord, and I was like, it doesn't. I know they probably have things and know things that exist that aren't quite right. But me as a player for 12 hours playing that game and doing all the bits I could do, there wasn't any point where I'd be like, this is embarrassing, I wouldn't release this.
oh yeah, with the
I
visual
was
NDA.
thinking
Yeah,
kind
no.
of the opposite, where I was like, get this in front of people.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah. If we streamed that first session, I don't think people would have been like, "Oh my god, what is this?" I think they'd just be
I
blown
think
away. Like,
I think people would be. And you, at the top of the podcast when we talked about the first impressions, you were like, this is exactly how Corepunk was sold as
yeah,
Corepunk. And
yeah,
there's no better strapline for the game. The game is the game, and it's
yeah.
it's not the game.
No,
Um, yeah,
it's funny
so
because
we'll.
someone from our community, Pop Art, was in my DMs today saying how we should stream the game, but not show footage and just do live commentary of what we're playing.
Mm.
But I was just like, I don't want to rock the boat there and get in trouble. I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know
I'd
you,
love
you
to.
wouldn't be
There is
breaking NDA, but
no,
it's
because I remember with Volumio talking about, because they did say it's also game audio, so you'd have to obviously mute that.
yeah, yeah,
But we, like, hypothetically now, if this was our screen and we're playing and there was no audio, I mean, if you can look in my beady eyes and see the reflection, well done, like, fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah,
But um, yeah, I just want to show it to the world. I'm obviously not the developer. I haven't sunk probably thousands and thousands of work, man and women and they and them hours into Corepunk. Like, but I'm like, let's do it. Like let's show him because
Yeah,
it is good. And but like I say, there is that reservation, and it's shrinking purely because we have hit the 2 time frames so far.
I think
Um,
this is. Yeah, I think these two timeframes have done a lot for me in the sort of like, okay, they definitely are at a state now where we're not going back to the old corporate ways or artificial core ways of just going quiet now. I can't
no,
see. Yeah, I can't see him now just going away for 6 months again, unless
no,
we have these play tests and they say, right, we're going in 6 months time early access, but I would give them that faith now of sort of like I really would believe them if they were just like, right, we've done the play test, we're going to go implement the changes and we're going to release the next thing in 6 months. We're going to be quiet now for 6 months whilst we get on. I'd be like, yeah,
yeah,
fair enough. They're sort of
100%.
yeah, they've earned that,
I did,
and it's not
I could
just
see that.
and it's not just the fact that they're putting out 2 posts and they've hit 2 dates. I know a lot of people in the comments might be like, they've hit 2 dates and now everything's okay. No,
Yeah,
it's the fact that
fanboys.
when playing the game, it's definitely more built in there. Like the core, like we said, the core game is there. It's not held together by fucking twine or whatever. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
twine. Why did I say? Where did twine come from?
I mean, it is. I'll give it to you, Carl. It is one of the worst things to hold things together with, maybe except a bundle of sticks. But that was so fun. Yeah, it's not held together by twine. It's held. I feel like if I was to akin it to a structure, it's a brick structure that's made with proper
Yeah,
concrete and it's got foundations. It's the difference of whether it's going to be a nicely furnished home at this stage or like it's going to have cheap fixtures and fittings, which is how I see it. But
yeah,
the house is a house.
yeah.
It's not held by twine.
It's not held by twine. Christ.
But yeah,
Um,
I do understand it, and I think going back to your point, I think I could actually see a more realistic expectation of playtest in November, uh, playtest maybe at the end of November, December, and then them going, "Hey, I know we said early access was December. We are going to go away for 3 months, or we need time to do that." And like you say, my restorative faith in that is that I've played the game. I know
yeah,
where it's at. I know its potential. And if those 3 months are what is going to take it between a successful early access and people going, I'm glad I backed this, to I'll throw money at it and I hope it works.
yeah.
I think I would almost rather go down that route. And is that selfish because I know I've played it and maybe, but is that a better informed position to say, well, actually, that would be the best thing if I was to guess, being
Yeah,
a general game consumer?
I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a great way to sort of back up that statement of we are going to be back in 3 months and you will be playing then. If they did put
Mm.
out sort of pre-orders or well, because it's going on their own launch, isn't it? So wait, what
Yeah,
store is it going to be? So like, where are they even marketing this at to be sold yet?
yeah,
Are you just going to have to buy
yeah,
it off the Corepunk website? I think if that's the way they're going, it'd be great to open up that early access buy now wish list, whatever. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Just so then it is real for people who haven't played. You know what I mean? Not that buying it makes it real, but starting to see those sort of avenues open up would definitely
yeah,
make it more grounded for people. I think rather than just being a couple of trailers and people talking about it.
100%. And like you say, I don't think we're going to see Corpunk go back to 6, 8, 12 months of silence because I don't think they need to, and I don't think that
No,
serves the purpose anymore. Whereas because no one had ever played it, war up massive upheaval with the studio and stuff, like real world things happening. It was forgivable to an extent. It's not what we want, of course, but you
no.
understand, like, and
Well,
But now that snowball has gone off,
I
and
think you
it's
know what
going
I
down
mean.
the hill.
I think they did those delays, so they could chuck, like you said, chuck that snowball down the hill now and let it start building momentum, knowing that they wouldn't have to do that again. That is how
Yeah.
I'd like to. That's how I like to think about it now. Is yeah, we're in that new era.
Mm.
I feel like
I'm
we've
excited.
digressed a lot there. I feel like this hasn't this hasn't really been an episode, and it's more just been me talking to you about well, which is all the episodes, isn't it? But
Yeah,
usually I'm a bit
but
more.
but that's the point. Is this is a stage now. It's a very interesting stage of development because it's people have played it, and people who've played it who have zero, like, there's no financial incentive. They've not got shares in the company. They haven't worked on the game. That's one of the scariest things you must do as a passion project, to go, someone else is playing this and I cannot, other than put my heart and soul into the game, influence what they
What they're
think.
saying,
And
yeah,
if they say it's shit and people hear that it's shit, how do we rectify that?
yeah.
So I get it. So, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I just, I don't know. I just want to play it, and I'm kind of a bit apprehensive in the fact that I hope that there's just a bit of my mind where it'd be like, if there was only 25 people, because they did 4 servers and split it across, how much more can they implement, and how much benefit? Because that's the other thing. This is a play test. They're testing things, so surely there must be something new to test.
Yeah,
That's
it'd
what
be
I'm
great.
hoping for.
Be great to try a raid, sort of something
Yeah,
like a boss. You
yeah,
know what I
like a
mean? Like a big,
dungeon. Yeah,
like a dungeon or
something that you can
something,
go out and go, yeah, let's go and get this character, or this
or
the
even some of
yeah.
the jump puzzles. You know what I mean? Something like that. Because there was the alpha. It could be the alpha testing stage. Because that 15 minutes of alpha where you go through the swamps and you had to do the jumping puzzle to open the gate to get to the other side. Um,
Yeah, that's a very good point.
it could be there.
It could the game
Could be,
must be. I think we said this before. Like,
yeah,
they've shown us the bits that they are comfortable showing. You know, it was a feel for the game. This one's the next iteration of that. And if they were genuinely considering and comfortable saying early access could be as early as December, the game has to be there. I don't
yeah.
know any game developers with all the money and resources in the world who could go, "We'll make the game in 3 months." Like, it just
But
doesn't. It
just
doesn't
think like
happen.
on the different systems that we were playing on, just us two, and we didn't have a crash each. We didn't have one single crash. We didn't have any, and like we played. I played early access of the Ranchers. I had a crash every 40 minutes. Not even that. You know what I mean? It was crashing all the time. So it's definitely
And there are plenty of games I see uh, people stream and people do YouTube videos of, like, even big games like, so Forza Motorsport came out, like, that released. It wasn't early access or anything, and it crashed and it breaks and stuff. And we've, as gaming consumers now, you need to say Cyberpunk, and you need to say, like, the Gollum game. Like,
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah,
games exist and people accept them and disregard them, and then knowing what we've played of Corepunk, and like you say, actually the fact that there wasn't a crash, the fact that there wasn't errors popping up and all these things,
and it,
it's actually so positive. So
yeah,
then
yeah,
that does then flip my side of, like, I don't think they're going to hit early access. But then on the other hand, maybe they will. Maybe they
yeah.
will. Maybe
Maybe
this
they
has,
will.
like you say, the reason why they have been silent and we've had to drag out podcasts for months talking about, oh, did you see this pixel on this little screenshot? Like, maybe that is because they now have the game. And that is why they're confident to say, here's the playtest. Here's playtest number 2, playtest number 3, early access. And maybe they're
Yeah,
saying that because it is a viable thing now. Whereas when they said beta before, they didn't know maybe what they were facing,
yeah.
possibly.
I think that's a good place to end it now because I just want to. I'll put it out to the community now. So, do you think we're in a new era of core punk? Let us know in the comments. And let us know, with the game coming hopefully close to release, what sort of content would you like this channel to make? We've been talking amongst ourselves. We're going to try and keep, obviously, we're always going to keep the podcast going. But would you be interested into guides, sort of like lore videos? Mike really wants to get into the lore. Yeah, give us some ideas because we want to start building this with you. Thank you to everyone who's joined the Discord recently. We're now up to like 100 members. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. We've had 60 new subscribers in the last month. So we're coming close to 300. So thank you so much. Honestly, it's a very exciting time for us at this channel and just in the community. I think everyone's just feeling it, and it's good to be sort of making friends because hopefully we'll be able to make a guild and we'll all be able to play together.
That's the plan, and there will be, and we can't make a guild without people.
No.
And the people are coming. I appreciate the fact that people turn up and listen to us. It is brilliant, and I genuinely appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. The fact that you even come to the Discord and chat to us whilst we're not chatting to a camera is great.
As you can probably tell with this episode, we'd be talking about Corepunk like this amongst ourselves, so it's nice to have other people here in the conversation.
Yes.
So let us know what you're excited for, what you want us to do. Let's keep building this together because it's exciting. Right, let's get out of here, Mike. Nice quick one.
Okay.
Yeah, playtest 2, it's coming 4th and 5th of November. We'll definitely have more videos up. There's a good point. I keep banging on about this Discord. There'll be a link in the description. There's a thread, playtest requests, in case you don't get invited. Let us know what you want us to look at for you. I love all this, Mike. I love that. Keep going. And tell us how we can better report back what you want to know. Because it's our first time doing this. You know what I mean? You've never done this before, have you, Mike? He hasn't.
Nope.
He hasn't.
Haven't.
So
I was
going
to buy this. Then I never realized I've got a voice.
Yeah. There's some people who listen to this on Spotify.
Yeah, audio. Follow us on Spotify. Give us a good review.
That'd be great.
Thank you to everyone who does listen to us on there. You're awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go. Right.
Okay,
see you later, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.